Now, well, of course, it's big international news at the moment, what's happening in Afghanistan as the Taliban return to power, and the Australian government warns Aussies not to go near Kabul's international airport. But what can we do to support? For more, the founder of the Australian South Asian Centre and the entrepreneurship manager at Spark Centre, Daizy Maan, joins us. Daisy, welcome to the show. I want to have a chat with you. I've been around for a while, and today is the 20th anniversary of a ship called the MV Tampa appearing on Australia's maritime horizons. It had 433 people on it seeking asylum, many of them Hazara Afghans. It changed Australia's politics quite a lot, and it's been a debate that we've had for 20 years now, as long as this war has gone on in Afghanistan. But there's been some good come out of it because there are some amazing young Afghan entrepreneurs that you're working with, and I want to focus on that and what they're up to. But I do want to start with how is the community feeling at the moment, because this is a pretty traumatic time for many people.
Look, thanks for having me on the show. How the community's doing. I'm of a South Asian background. I've directly been in touch with women in Kabul. I was on the phone from 6 a.m. this morning, working out what we can do to support them. Spending 5 days filling out forms nonstop. We filled out about 150 working with the US Senator's office. So we've been doing everything we can do as allies. So how we're feeling right now is, I don't know if we have time for feelings, but we're pretty, we're trying to help them as much as we can. That's where we're at as allies and as an Indian Australian.
Now, you're running the entrepreneurship program, Spark Deakin, at Deakin University. There are around 200 Afghan nationals currently registered as students at the university. Tell us a little bit about what they're doing and their ambitions, because of course, Australia is the story of people coming to this country and doing amazing things.
100%. Look, I feel like their stories don't get told. I must say first, I don't represent the views of the university. But look, the students I've spoken to from Deakin and other universities and Monash and at Melbourne Uni, they're absolutely brilliant. And they've got these ambitions to be entrepreneurs and to build businesses and also to contribute to the startup and the entrepreneurial ecosystem. The problem is that we don't always create the space for them to thrive. And then many of them, the ones I've spoken to, for example, have been on a humanitarian visa for 10 years. They don't even know if they're allowed to start a business if they want to. They feel like they're really stepping on eggshells trying to get by here, but they can be quite resourceful and ambitious, and they've got so much resilience. I feel like we don't always create the environment for them to thrive. But at Spark Deakin, we're trying to support them as much as we can to let them know that you don't always need significant capital to start a business. You can be quite resourceful, and we, with the introductions into the right networks, can support their ambitions. But as you know, right now, it's really difficult when they're wondering, is my sister going to be alive next week? And can I get to Australia? If I can't, could have I done something? Is really what's on their mind right now.
Absolutely, and one of those people with that on their mind is a young man named Farash, who is studying data science at Deakin. His sister is back in Afghanistan. His ambition is to start a startup that is like Atlassian or Canva. I love that fact. And he really wants to work in data analytics. So he's exactly the sort of person Australia's startup and tech community wants. Do you encounter lots of people like this who have these ambitions?
I do encounter a lot of people like this, and often I won't know straight away what visa they're on because that's not, I don't ask someone, hey, are you a citizen? Are you on a certain visa? Often I'll find out later because we're really focused on building strong relationships with people. I did speak to him. His name has been changed to protect his privacy. And I was in awe of the things he'd like to do, and I want to help them come to life. I think, like I said, right now, it's hard to encourage them to go build businesses with what's going on. So I think it's being aware of that. But also, I think it's really important for Australians to know that these people are often excluded from the startup ecosystem, and they're brilliant, and we don't see their talent for what it is, perhaps sometimes because of a language barrier, but that doesn't always mean they're not as equally talented, if not more, than a lot of Australian businessmen. So I think that's really important to remember that we could do more to be a bit more inclusive and to, extend our networks, to make introductions, to be conscious of who's on my team, how can I support them? Are there currently people with an Afghan humanitarian visa on your team? How many years have they been working on getting their family here? Is that something that comes in the way of them being able to perform?
Yeah, all really, really good advice. And Daisy, I know you saw Mike Cannon-Brookes tweet the other day where he offered to add $1 million to Ben Quilty's campaign to raise $1 million for people in Afghanistan. So there's another way they can support people in Afghanistan right now and their families. But great to have you on the show today. Let's continue telling these stories of these amazing young people. Thanks for your time.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And now let's turn our attention to venture capital and funding and science startup Quantum Brilliance.